Hello everybody, welcome back to the Generalist's Guide to Girls Frontline, Part 4. So, on the last part I was telling you to get one, at least, or recommended 2 teams to 3x and level 30. So let's go ahead and just take tabs on that one really quickly. Now, I never actually mentioned it in the video, but I just wanted to go ahead and highlight as well. The recommended team setup that I would do for you guys is what I had done originally. So 2 ARs, which are in the top left and the bottom left, so the 7 and the 1 position. You want a handgun in the 4 position, buffing preferably with evasion as well on top of some kind of a damage stat, if you can find something like that, to your frontline, top, and bottom. If not, like I said, 1911 or something should be plenty right there. You get the extra accuracy, you get the rate of fire on your ARs, and there you go. And then you have your 2 SMG dolls. Now, I'm going to wind up swapping some things around here eventually, though, but we're good for now with how I have things. I'm suffering some tiles here at the expense of doing this, but it is what it is. So I don't really mind that much, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here, though. But this is what our other team was right there. And everybody is, again, level 30 plus with 3x. I'm going to make Type 64 our squad lead here, and I'm going to make Stan our squad lead here, because why the hell not? So I have 2 teams in logistics still. I haven't done anything with any extra T-dolls. Have I pulled anybody else recently? I think I have a number of 2-stars that are in here. I pulled a CMS from production a while ago, which is a super highly meta, very flexible 5-star MG. Not MG, sorry, SMG. Because she's able to change what she does, which is boost her own evasion, boost her own damage, or boost her own accuracy. So she's highly flexible, and she has weird equipment slots, where she's able to, rather than use the hollow point rounds that SMGs are known for doing, which reduces their AP and increases their damage, she can actually put in AP rounds, which does exactly what it sounds like. It makes it so that she has complete armor penetration on her damage. So she's very fucking flexible, and there's a lot of things that you can do with a CMS, but we're not going to build her. Not the point of it in any way, shape, or form. Again, I just have a number of 2-stars that are in here, which 37 of 100 is a pretty decent capacity, but I don't want to focus on grabbing a bunch of T-dolls quite yet. We are also Commander level 18, and on a side note to mention to you guys as well, if you go up here in the corner and click on your Commander, you'll notice that mine doesn't have like all of that grubby equipment on anymore, and that's because if you click on this right here, you can choose male or female for your Commander. I can still do male and still have all the female stuff on. It doesn't really matter that much though, but I just pick female because why the fuck not? Because the female commander is just adorable as sin. And that'll actually give you a free outfit in your quests to get to be able to put on your commander and just make them look a little bit nicer. So just by doing that quick thing, you can get a couple of quick goodies, and that's that. And then you can make your, again, commander cute as fuck. I've picked up a number of batteries as well, and I'm going to go through the data room as well as the research, the rescue station rather, and see what I can do here. But what is this one? Increases the number of combat reports we can do. Now, I want capacity on my... that right there, so that's one thing that I really care about. But this is what our data room looks like at the moment. Nothing too special. I'm just trying to stock up some more batteries, because I had mentioned in the first episode, when you hit Commander rank 20, you'll wind up getting expeditions, and that's really where I think that you should focus a lot of your upgrades, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even going to worry about the pet station right now, to be honest, either. Because then I can get my 3 pets from those stations alone, and we'll be good to go. I've also been doing my login stuff, but we've just been getting, mostly for the 7-day frontline supplies, it's just been this stuff. So we had dolls for the first 3 days, and then just, you know, T-doll contracts, quick production contracts, all of that fun stuff. And like I said, I've just been keeping my production going whenever that I can, and all of that fun stuff. But, that's really all that we have done here. Nothing too special. Just the rank 18, or the level 18 in, Commander rank is pretty much the only thing. And I did a little bit of, combat simulation as well for some more of those capsules, which are, you're gonna wish that you have a ton of those later on. I haven't done anything for 2-1, 2-2, and 2-3, though. I haven't done the gold medals there, but I still have all of my gold medals, obviously, as I had showcased before. But we're here to clear through Chapter 2-6. And you guys are going to find out why I wanted you to build 2 AR teams to be able to do this. So, let's go ahead and jump into it, and we'll see how much more that we just stomp the absolute, just mother-loving shit out of everything in front of us because of our 3x teams. This is why I wanted to build you guys for this. The 3X teams are also going to use more resources, of course, 150% of their resources that your teams were using prior. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted you to run, in the first place, it's why I wanted you guys to run a handgun in your teams, because they will be using a little bit less resources, and they just have good general buffs that you can give to everybody else. You can run a third AR, but it's not necessarily, like, needed. At least not right now. So we'll be fine. I'll probably start running 3 AR teams, though, when I do have M4A1, because there's a lot of returns you get out of that. But just 2 ARs, 2 SMGs, and 2 SMGs will be fucking plenty for what you need right now. I absolutely assure you. And we're actually going to do a planning mode right here, and I may not do anything there, actually. I'm probably just going to do that and then summon another dummy. I can't summon a dummy. Never mind. I never pulled any of my teams from logistics, so we're going to have to do this with the 2, and I'm going to try to black out things so that I can wind up getting my gold medals later. Because blackouts are just harder to get because it takes more time. So that's why I always aim for the silver medals on the blackouts first, and then we move on from there. But as you see, yeah, those 3 X's, they destroy things, and not only that, but you'll realize that your repair times will be down lower because it's based off of the total HP that they have. So the chip damage that we suffer with Sten, with Scorpion, with Spectre M4, all of that stuff, it'll usually wrap up in like a minute or 2, and you can just go right back into the fight anyway. So it just helps you considerably by bringing their HP values up, because they're not going to be repairing forever. And then again, if you have swap out SMGs that you have also been building, which is a side extra credit thing you can do with this guide, then you can just swap your SMGs out, and then you don't have to worry about repairing. Because that's ultimately what I'm trying to get you guys to do, and what I'm trying to get you guys to understand as well, is trying to have a number of dolls that you can swap out, so that you don't have to wait to play the goddamn game. I feel like they took way less damage than anything that the above AR team has taken. I still need to buff a lot of things, though, with these teams. They're still not optimal, mostly because we have not unlocked equipment production yet, so that's most of it. But equipment production is at Commander rank 20. I am going to probably assign you guys some equipment tasks at the end of this video. I just need to see what we unlock at 2-6 is the main thing. Because I'm going to probably assume that by episode 5, everybody has equipment taken care of. So, take that one how you will. I mean, even a 2-star exoskeleton on SMGs will be a significant and substantial boost. So, oh, you fucker. We'll just do that. I don't know why the music seems to have just died completely in the game. And it's kind of eerie. I may or may not skip through this one, though, because there's not really much to see here. It's just basically just move with your 2s. This is the general idea that you do. And when you're deep in enemy territory, by the way, here's a little strategy that you can do that I did at one point and never really explained. So if I were to, like, move Sten up here, she wouldn't be able to capture... Well, actually, she'd be able to capture that heliport, because this is connected to it by green. But, like, say if I moved this Type 63 team up here, you would not be able to capture that, and it would be encircled immediately next because they have all of the red. But if you were to bring Sten in, let's just say, fuck movements, right? If you move Sten over here next to her, and they're right next to each other, it cancels that encirclement, and you can actually gain ground behind enemy lines by bringing in a second team, so... That is a good move that you can do. I may move over to this motherfucker and capture him. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have Sten take that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make Sten capture the heliport to the top. Yeah, so we'll skip over to the next part. There's not really anything else to see here. I haven't really... There's nothing else that I'd be doing in this run that you guys wouldn't see elsewhere, so we'll move over to the next one once I do the jump cut. So, I will see you then. Alrighty, so I just wanted to go ahead and demonstrate the repair that I was mentioning before. So if we do repairs 4, which is Sten and Type 64 right there, that is exactly what I thought. Under a minute to do those repairs. Like, that's... It just... You can go right back into the next mission and you're good to go. You can probably clear all of fucking chapter 2, like all the way down to 2-6 in one go. Quite easily. Even without upgrading your T-Dolls too much, to be honest with you. Because they just have enough HP to go through it. But there is a little bit of a niche thing. Again, there's a reasoning why I wanted you guys to get 3X and to get people pretty upgraded for being able to clear the boss of 2-6, because IMO, I think the boss for 2-6, when we get to them, is probably one of the best little difficulty humps in the game, and just one of the best fucking ways to ease, like, the way that a game works to a player, in my opinion. Like, it really tries to, it's just a good fucking boss, in my opinion. It's just a good fucking boss. And I don't want to spoil anything until we get to 2-6, but that's really just the best thing I can say. It's just, it's a good fucking boss. Now, what stage is this one? We want to go up. We're still going to go for the blackout option, I think, here, though, but we need to take these helipads if we're going to do it. I may have to just go for the winning of the stage, though, to be honest with you. I may take the gold first, because I don't have the echelon space to do this shit. Actually, no, I can summon a guest echelon. How am I going to do this one? You know what? I may actually recommend that one for you guys as well when you go through here. If you're going to go for the blackout method and you don't have a third dummy to use, and you're going to really want to put that dummy echelon somewhere that can't be reached, by the way, so dummies are kind of a pain in the ass, I would just summon the AI echelon if you're just going for the silver medal. Because any enemies that a dummy echelon, or rather an AI or a friend echelon that you summon kills, it does not actually count towards the, it doesn't count towards any kills that you have to do for a gold medal. So using a summon echelon that is not one that you own is not recommended for going towards those gold medals. It's not going to do you any favors. What am I gonna do here? I'm trying to like plan out my my attack plan here, but I think, like I said, I'm just gonna do this. Support echelon. And I'm gonna really try not to like use the overpowered things, because like you can very easily just get somebody with an overpowered echelon and fucking deal with it. But these echelons will be a little bit different with how they run, by the way, too. You click on them and you have 3 options: eliminate enemies, standby, or capture HQ. They're pretty much as what they sound like. Standby, she will stand perfectly still. Capture HQ, they will aim for the command post. And eliminate enemies is they will just be on all aggressive. Anything that they use for, like, they don't have ammunition or MREs that they're going to really use either. So you're good to not worry about resupplying them. And I do have 3 moves, so I can go 1, 2, 3 and capture something, which I will actually do. I'm going to take out these diner gates first. And then I'll move over to the left. Just so that we can keep gaining ground. I don't want to lose any ground here. I may even summon a second support echelon to help me with capturing things. Because I really just need, like, terrain coverage right now. Actually, let me do this. I will summon a second support echelon. Which I cannot summon one of those. Ah, son of a bitch, so I would only be able to summon a singular support echelon. Which is okay. I don't have any, like, normal fucking leveled echelons, though. So I'm not gonna worry. I'm just gonna play it with that one regular echelon, then. That's fine. So hopefully they summon somebody on the red heliport right above me here with this team, so that I can just take it. That would be the ideal move, is if they just go for the echelon right here, so I can move up and take that heliport. But they should move up, take this, and then, like I said, I hope they just go down so I can take the heliport next round. And then with Sten, I'll go here and encircle pretty much everything that I need to encircle. So, alright, yeah. As you can see, they do not have the same clear as the 3Xs do. They do fine, though. They really do. They do absolutely fine for the dummy echelon, though. Especially with that SKS on the team. Rifles will do pretty decent. You just gotta do a lot of upgrading into their damage for the early game once you start getting levels into them, which can be kind of costly because you just will not be cranking out as many 2 stars as you need to keep their damage up. So they take a long time to really hit their potential of hitting the high, big dick numbers. So I'm not going to say that they're not worth the investment for general use, but I will say that they're a little bit weird to use, and they start out where they're really good, and then they'll start to fall off for a little bit unless you've been upgrading their damage. Like I said, a level 100 unit performs exactly the same as a level 1 unit if you've never done any dummy links on it. If you haven't done any upgrades as well. So you have to do those T-Doll upgrades to really get anything out of the level up process. They'll perform exactly the same. There are some very niche differences, though, in that. Like, shotguns, for example, gain more armor the higher level that they are, and it just increases. So those are a little different. Do you drop 3 stars? You do, so I'm going to wind up sacrificing that drop out of this one, which I don't care that much, to be honest. So that's fine. Though every enemy that is on this echelon, I swear to God, they just love to clump all of their units up in one area and just get destroyed by Scorpion's Incendiary. I wish I had that kind of luck with Grenadiers. I'm going to worry about this. Well, let me go ahead and resupply. Just because it's less micromanaging I have to do later. She should take this unit out. And I really hope that she does. Since she's still on Eliminate. So if all goes well here, this should cause a blackout. And that's always the order of how the dolls move, by the way, too. You'll always get, like, your support echelons to move afterwards with those auto moves. So do remember that. The movement order is kind of important. Yeah, I don't know why my fucking music keeps glitching out, dude. It's kind of, like, weird. What was that in the bottom left? Add target? What is add target? I don't know. Fuck it. I've never seen that before. At least I don't recall seeing it before. And that should do it. So there we go. Now we're moving on to 2-6, which is the fucking main event that I have been waiting for you guys. So, without further ado, let me just get repairing, and so we can jump right back into that shit. Alright, well, I'm getting surprised by something that I didn't expect to get, but I'm going to skip the tutorial here because I realize that there's a tutorial skip, which is great. So, let's just get with the repairing. I think because I have 2-6 already here and I don't need to clear it, I guess. I already have equipment production, so this would be a great time for just giving the lowdown on it. So, let's jump in. So, yep, there we go. So we have equipment production. Is that because I'm commander level 20? No, it is just the 2-6 then. Excellent. So here we have equipment production. They added a recent thing, which is fantastic, which is IOP Special. It means that you can go in here, and if you pick any of these out of IOP Special, it'll guarantee that the drops are things like exoskeletons. This is one of the first things that I recommend that you guys work towards as well. So I would say when you unlock equipment production, you should immediately do this. I'm going to undo the quick production, because by the time that I am done with this guide and done with everything that I need to do here, I'll be able to not use those quick productions to do anything here. And I'd rather save them, because they're really good for events when you need to just burn through a bunch of T-dolls to be able to get, like, the achievements for point events for produce X number of T-dolls. So you can do that all in, like, one run if you have enough of those just built up. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. And, what are you? Type 64, excellent. But, yeah, that's really all that you need to know. There are a number of different equipments that you can get with your T-dolls, and they unlock at level 20, level 50, and level 80. At level 20, your SMGs are able to use, they're able to use exoskeletons, like I said. There are two different types of exoskeletons in the game. There's the ones that you use for your off-tanks, which increase evasion, obviously. And then there are ones that you use for main tanks that increase your evasion further than the ones that just have a flat evasion increase, but they also do a damage penalty. And for the handguns, the first things that they can use, I believe, is either night battle equipment or suppressors, possibly. I can't remember. I think it's just night battle equipment. And let me see here. What does it say? Yeah, night battle equipment and suppressor for your first handgun one, which is not going to help you that much. The reason why I'm saying at like level 70, 80 is when they first become useful, is level 70 is when you 4x them and their tile buffs get much better up here. And at level 80, they wind up getting an exoskeleton, so they actually gain a bit more evasion. They're not going to really, again, qualify as a main tank, because if they do get hit, they get hit for a lot of damage because they don't have much HP, but it's still something to note. And then for ARs, their initial thing is a scope, which increases their critical hit chance. This is major for your damage increase on, or your DPS in general, on your ARs. Holographic sights are good for increasing damage and increasing, I believe, accuracy at the cost of rate of fire, if I recall correctly. If not, then it's more rate of fire at the cost of accuracy, but I think it was the former of those. So there's optical sights, which increase your crit chance, holographic sights, which is damage and accuracy for rate of fire trade-off, red dot sights, which I think it's just more accuracy and a little more damage. for the secondary stat. Night Battle equipment is exactly what you think it does. So you lose a sight, which increases your global damage for the most part. But you are able to use that AR in night battles, because if you don't have a night battle equipment on an AR, they're pretty much useless, guys. They really are. There are some rare circumstances where you could get that to work if you had a handgun where you're waiting for their ability to use like a flare to increase their visibility, but if you don't have night battle equipment on an AR for night battle, they're not going to hit anything and they're useless. So you have to run night battle equipment on your ARs for the most part. And then suppressors are a crit chance increase. Not as good as optical sights for the crit chance, but it also gives you evasion as a secondary stat. So they're really good for just getting a little bit more crit chance on things while also increasing evasion, which is also even good for SMGs. And those are the initial equipments that you get for those main T-Doll types that we're going to be using. So those are the things I would recommend that you aim for. Night battle equipment in particular, scopes, and most importantly, get those exoskeletons up. If you can get a couple of blue or even green level 45 requirement for being able to use 4-star equipments, by the way, but if you can get a couple of blue main tank exoskeletons, they're going to bring you far. And I think we also have equipment enhancements. No, we don't. So we have to beat midnight stages to be able to get enhancement and calibration, which is fine. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I'm going to jump cut until we wind up going into 2-6, because I got to check a couple of things right here. I got a lot of exclamation points, so I'll be right back. Okay, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Stage 2-6 that I have been building up for quite a long time now. This is what you have been preparing for. This is what your training has been for. So, 2-6 introduces the Sangvis Ferry ringleader of Executioner. Now, you can end this fight in 2 rounds. You just need a singular unit to do it, which is why I said I recommend 2, because then you can get all the medals that you need for this, for 3x, and have minimal issues with it, as well as be able to have... You can very easily summon dummy echelons and clear the rest of the shit as well, with just 2 clearing units. But if you have 1 3x unit, you can clear this stage very easily. So you go ahead and you summon your 3x, and I will demonstrate. So just resupply, and you just 2 right here, 2 right there, end the fight. So then it ends your first turn right up there. I don't think Executioner moves in the non-X stage, so I think she'll stay right there. And don't be panicking about the encirclement that'll happen here when you end your first round and they encircle your command post. Do not panic. You'll be fine. You'll be able to end the round by moving over to their CP, ending your turn on it, and then that'll be everything right there. It'll end the fight before they wind up encircling it. It'll be fine. You will get the clear. You won't get any medals, but you get the clear, and fuck this plane going overhead right now. Every time I leave my window open, the city itself just decides to be the city. So I'm going to pause immediately, okay? Because there's a really important thing that I need to mention here, guys. So, this fight, why I say that this is such an awesome fight and why I enjoy it so goddamn much is because it is an excellent example of what you need to be doing for a lot of fights in the future. It is a great introductory phase to it. Now, if you guys remember when I mentioned you need to have a couple of tricks up your sleeve for things in the later game, and enemies aren't just going to be about overwhelmingly just overpowering them. There are a lot of units in this game that are very special and have certain movesets and certain things that they do where you need to reposition your units on the field. And there are a number of T-Dolls that gain special benefits as well, depending on how you reposition your other units. For example, MDR is a 5-star assault rifle. Just food for thought here, don't worry about it, it's not relevant. But She has a skill where, depending on if she has a unit in front of her, will either give the unit in front of her a shield or give herself a damage boost. So you can actually move your SMG in the top right, if you have MDR in the top left, to the right, and then she will self-damage buff before you do anything. So, just as a side note, repositioning units is a thing you should do. You should be very familiar with it and know what units reposition faster than others. Handguns will always reposition faster than pretty much anything that you have. They're very quick at what they do. Rifles are usually pretty slow. ARs are in the middle. SMGs are also usually pretty fast in their mobility as well. Though I believe that this can differ from unit to unit, and it also differs on whether or not that you have certain equipments on certain units. So what does that mean for Executioner? Well, you're going to take a lot of damage from your units if you just fight this fight without repositioning anything. I would recommend at the beginning of the fight you reposition your units as such, and this is why I also recommended that you guys have a handgun in your 4 position in the back row, because you can very easily do this formation with your main tank and put your handgun there. This is important. Now, one of the main things you also want to make sure that you're always doing is you have a line of T-dolls in the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row. Rows going left to right, by the way. If you have a column of T-dolls, then it blocks all of the units from running off to the left side of the map. You can lose this fight, and I have, by letting Executioner run straight through your front line in the front like this, and she will run off of the map to the left, and you will be forced to withdraw. You will lose the fight. So, don't do that. You want to make sure that you constantly have control of the situation and you're holding them back. But what you also want to make sure is that nobody is in the middle row, or at least, I think it's always the middle row, but if it's not, just to be safe, make sure that nobody is behind your main tank. She has a special attack that she will do, and we're going to be totally taking control of the situation by, like, absolutely taking advantage of the slow motion that you have when you hold on to clicking onto repositioning your main tank. We're going to be putting it in slow motion to do this. You're going to want to move your main tank up or down to get out of the way of the attack as best as you can when the animation is starting, and then run her back into her position to block Executioner from running off of the map. You can also move your main tank down if you need to, by the way. If she winds up running straight by your right by your main tank, you can just move your off tank in there. So this is a good reasoning why you have off tanks, is for this kind of shit. But you want to make sure that your assault rifles are never moving. Your assault rifles are your damage. When they're moving and repositioning, they're not shooting. They're not doing damage. But this is just an introductory phase for doing this. This is good practice. So hold on to your movement. Executioner is going to keep shooting with her main handgun, and then eventually she's going to use her sword to do a special attack if she pulls it off. So let's see what happens here. There we go. That's the attack that you're trying to do. She will do that, and then you can move her right back. Done. That'll prevent you from taking the mass amount of damage from that attack. You want to make sure that that's how you handled that fight. Now, I know she already took a lot of damage, poor little Sten, but this is also a good tactic that you can do with off-tanks. If you reposition your team the way that you did right there, you can swap Sten with Scorpion, and they'll take positions. Sten will be in the back line, and then Scorpion will be in there, and it'll change their target priority to do damage to Scorpion. That's what the great benefit is to off-tanks. You can swap that damage so that you do not lose Sten. You can also completely withdraw Sten and then move Scorpion to the front. There's no downfall, really, other than the doll not being in the fight, to completely withdrawing one of your units to have somebody take the place. But Executioner, in my opinion, is still one of the best fucking, like, bosses that I have seen in a game, with the way that they introduce things to the player for you to do. It's very straightforward, but it means an awful lot, because you're going to get your ass hammered if you're not doing what the game expects you to do there. And then that's it right there. You have cleared the stage. 2-6 is done. There's a couple of different things that we'll wind up getting out of that. Obviously, we got equipment production already by unlocking 2-6, but by clearing stage 2-6, you also get another reward. A very lovely reward. In fact, a very important reward, which is M4A1 at level 20. This is the first T-Doll that you will unlock through story, and a very important one at that. So let's go ahead and take a look at her, ladies and gentlemen. I think our damage in the top is actually pretty decent. So let's take a look at our formation. I'm going to finally pull out my P-38 and probably put her into one of my logistics teams. And we'll put an M4A1. So like I said, she is a damage boosting AR that boosts your fucking crit rate by 30 damage of all other ARs, or 30%, as well as damage. She is a godsend when it comes to self-buffing ARs, and her self-damage focus basically compensates all of her lack of damage based off of her stats themselves. So, M4A1 is a really, really, really busted-ass T-Doll, in my opinion. She is very busted, especially with the damage tile that I'm having right here. We got a fucking really good setup here. You buff evasion, you're gonna go up here. So, there we go. Those are going to be our new tiles, and look at that. That just automatically puts her in a pretty good spot. What do I have for combat records? Don't be afraid to use your combat records you're getting from missions, by the way. I'm going to do this just to save a little bit of time, but I'm probably going to wind up doing some XP runs in the future as well. So if you guys remember what I mentioned in the first episode, story T-Dolls do not get duplicates. Do not break down your M4A1 under any circumstance. What you should be focusing your T-Doll cores on, I'm going to use 9 of my 65, is to 3x my M4A1. So, and one of the first things I'll wind up doing with my research teams as well, so that's a regular exoskeleton. That is basically an off-tanking exoskeleton, which is fine. It's not bad, but those are definitely one of the first things you want to do. Try to get two main tanking exoskeletons, even if they're just 2 stars. Just try to get those first. That is actually a 3-star right there, which is great. Shut up, cat. What do you want? She wants to get out of the room. Alright, so I gotta wrap up this very quickly, otherwise my cat is gonna wind up completely taking control of the scene here and pay attention to me. So, poor little Stan is in a state of disrepair right now, but we're perfectly fine. Yeah, skill training. So that's pretty much what you mostly have gotten done right there, and that was what the goal of the episode was, guys, to unlock your M4A1. You can even build another AR team with them if you want, with your M4A1. And she'll do fucking wonders for you, man. She will do great things for you. But what I'm going to do, actually, is put that exoskeleton on Sten. Not Sten, sorry. On, yeah. On the Scorpion, because she kind of needs that little bit of buff right there. And that wraps up this episode of the Generalist's Guide. So we completed Chapter 2-6. Your homework to do is, I want you to mostly grind up so that you're able to get to Commander level 20. I will be Commander level 20 by the next run, or by the next episode that we wind up doing. So in the meantime, before the next episode, try to get all of your gold medals that you need, and your silver medals, for all of Chapter 2. You can start some of the emergency runs if you like. M4A1, again, should be able to get you through a lot of that shit as well. Having a 3 AR team, you should be able to rip and tear through most of this, other than maybe Second Executioner in emergency. And by completing Chapter 2, it also means that you have Chapter 3 logistics runs too. So remember that you can send people out for other logistics. It just requires that you have to have a team that has different leader levels and number of members in the echelon. So that is always something to keep track of. You want to try to get through Emergency 2-4 soon, which will probably be our next goal. And just try to get silver and gold medals for all of Chapter 1 and 2. And one of the main reasonings why I'm telling you this is so that you are able to get your Commander level to 20, because I will expect your Commander level to be 20 by the time that we jump back into this one, so that we can do a number of other things. And that's what I'm going to wind up grinding, and probably getting some other swap out T-Dolls in here to level 30 to be able to work with. And one of the main things, too, that I never mentioned, that I should mention now, do not be afraid if you guys have duplicates of 3-star T-Dolls to use your combat records on, say, AK-47, for a perfect example, okay? Do not be afraid to use 2 of your combat reports to get her from level 1 to level 11, like I did, just to use AK-47 as a breakdown to make her 2x. I'd stop after about 3x. Don't worry about investing anything in that T-Doll after 3x, but just to get it out of your inventory. You're even free to break down AK-47s after getting her to level 11, to be honest with you. I would just break them down after that point, because it requires a little more investment than you would need for this T-Doll. And I'll tell you right now, even if you like the AK-47, go ahead and use her if you like, but this tile right here, this evasion bonus tile for an SMG that is in the same row as her, is garbage. She's good for her strike focus, which you want her skill. But for AK-47, I would say don't use her for her tiles, don't put her in the front row. And do not, for dear God, for the love of God, do not use her with Uzi in the back row. That's useless. It is absolutely useless to have like 3 SMGs and then 2 ARs. Just don't do that. They're just going to use a lot more resources than they need to do. So just use AK in the top left and just put a handgun in the middle. Or just put a self-boosting AR and then you can combine strike focus with M4A1. And AK will do a great job. So that's all I can say right there. Don't be afraid to use 2 combat records to get these, like, other 3-star ARs that you have or 3-star SMGs that you wind up pulling to break them down and make them 2x. There's no problem in doing that. I may even do that with Sig 510 just so that I can use her. So that being said, I gotta let my cat out the door and I gotta move on with some other things that I gotta do today, guys. So I will see you later, and until next time.